Hi, welcome to the CTEL program. I'm Dr. Nicole Schneider, chair of the CTEL program, and I am here today to clarify some things about the portfolio and discuss some frequently asked questions. At the end of the CTEL program, once you complete the 4 courses, you are required to complete a portfolio as your demonstration of mastery. So a couple of things that come up. First of all, it is absolutely critical that you review our website before you start to put together your portfolio. You can find this at My Brandman. This is our CTEL page, and a lot of the information that you need is on here. Particularly, what I want you to look at is the program handbook and portfolio guidelines. You must read this from beginning to end before starting to work on your portfolio, as it clarifies many of the questions that come up. So the handbook, like I said, it goes over a lot of things. So I'm going to kind of scroll down a little bit. See, there's some frequently asked questions. I'm going to scroll down a little bit to look at portfolio requirements. First of all, it says, when do I begin working on my portfolio? That's a good question. While you're taking the 4 courses, my best recommendation is to just make sure you save all of your assignments. Every assignment could potentially be used in your portfolio. I also recommend saving them in some sort of cloud drive. You don't want something to happen to your computer and then you lose all of your work. Okay? The next thing I get asked is, when is it due? Well, we actually don't have a set due date for the portfolio, but we do recommend completing it within 2 months of finishing your last course while everything is fresh. You do need to finish all 4 courses before you can submit your portfolio. So while you can start building it and working on it while you're finishing up your coursework, you need to have your final grade posted for that last class before submitting. But really, I just recommend saving your assignments. You know, if you want to start on some reflections ahead of time, that's fine, and we'll talk about those. Your portfolio is created in live text, and that's actually a whole other video and section that I'll refer to later. Right now, we're just talking about the contents of the portfolio. But in live text, you'll see directions as well. The first 2 parts are the reflection statement and philosophy of service to English learners. These instructions are pretty clear cut. I rarely get questions on this. Now, there are standards for the CTEL program. So what you need to do is find 2 artifacts, which are assignments, that relate to each of the standards. So there's standards 4 through 10, which are found in the appendices in this document. You'll also see them in live text. And the most common question I get about the portfolio is, how do I know what documents align with which standard? And my response is, well, that's really up to you. That's part of your demonstration of mastery, and everybody's portfolio looks a little bit differently because of that. The goal is to kind of look through your assignments and see, how can you show your understanding of the standard based on one of your artifacts. Now, what can be used as an artifact? Pretty much anything that you have done within the 4 CTEL courses. We require that you include the signature assignment from each CTEL course. In addition to that, you can use any of the other assignments that you have done. You can even use journals and discussion posts if they are relevant. Okay? And then the other question I get is, well, can I use an assignment more than once? You know, particularly those signature assignments, a lot of times they cover multiple standards. The answer to that is yes, but make sure that of the 2 artifacts for that standard, at least one of them is unique. In other words, one of them has not been used multiple times. I also wouldn't recommend using an assignment more than twice. And also make sure that your reflection is not exactly the same, because since it's a different standard, there are different questions to reflect upon. Okay, so now I want to talk about the reflections. So to do that, I'm going to pop over to live text. This is where you will build your portfolio. So as you can see, you'll put your reflection statement there. Click on edit. You can copy and paste some things into the box. And also down here you have an option to insert files. So you can just save them and paste them in. Let me cancel that. Now let's look at the standards. You can see each standard on the left has its own tab. So standard 4, language structure and use. These are the bullet points that you really need to pay attention to when writing your reflection. So for every standard, you have to choose 2 assignments from your CTEL coursework and write a reflection on each of those assignments. So in other words, every standard will have 2 assignments and 2 reflections. This is what evaluators really pay attention to, is how well you responded to these questions, because we want to know, did you make the connection between the coursework and the CTEL standards? And is that evident through your reflection? So I would even leave these headings right here and just write your responses underneath. That's one idea. And then you can attach your artifacts with this next edit button. Many people just type right in. So if you click on edit here, you can type right in a few sentences, for each bullet point. Obviously, the first one is probably shorter. And then copy and paste it for your second one, because remember, you need 2 reflections. Okay, and then attach your artifacts. Now, every standard has different bullet points. The first 2 are usually the same, and then the second 2 really refer to the content of the standard. So that is key. Making sure that relationship between your artifact and the standard is very clear in your reflection. Okay, so you do that all the way through, 4 through 10. Don't worry about optional artifacts. And then you can work on submitting your portfolio. Now, to do that, go back to your CTEL website. There's 2 options here. For one, our credential office has created this wonderful video on how to build and submit your live text portfolio. Also, you will see in the handbook, if you go down, first of all, Appendix A, you can see the standards. It's written out in full language, so you can really get the details on every standard. That will help you decide which artifact goes with which standard, so make sure you read through these. But then the beauty of this document is down here, Appendix B. Not only do you get step-by-step instructions, but they include pictures on how to build and submit your portfolio in live text. So if this is a better support for you, then use this, but also know that there's a video right here, and that will explain the process of how to submit and then what happens once you submit. If you have any questions about the content of your portfolio, you will email me right here, Dr. Nicole Schneider at nschneid@brandman.edu. If you have questions about building and submitting of your portfolio, that goes to our credential office. So it's credentialalerts@brandman.edu. Okay, thank you for your time. And as a reminder, start right here at our CTEL website. Have a great day.